Happy Self Love Sunday. I am Mo Sass, the host of Self Love Sundays with Sass. I am your certified vision and empowerment coach who comes here every single Sunday to help you better your best. I heard this quote by Helen Keller, and it's not the first time, but it really hit me differently today. And the quote is, alone we can do so little, together but together we can do so much. And it's truly important now, listen, not just as a woman, but as a black woman working, who's a single mom who has this life of, working towards success. I not only own my own companies, I also have an employer. I still work in the telecom industry, and I cannot believe that in September it will be 25 years that I have been in my place of employment. And what I've learned is there is power in the community. And I'm not talking about just the community that you were raised around. I'm not talking about specifically that community. However, if that community is a community that pours into you, if that is a community that supports you, if that is a community that holds you high, if that is a community that doesn't judge you, then that is the community that you need to be in. Because here's the thing, that's exactly what a community does. A community rallies around you. A community supports you. A community holds you high. And what do I mean by hold you high? They won't allow you to wallow in your BS, right? They will see the best for you. They will push you towards the greatness you say you want. And I think that's an important thing. So very often we say we want success and we want to achieve certain things. And I'm not just talking monetary, right? I'm talking all the things. I'm talking whether it's financial success, mental, physical, nutritional, spiritual, health, all of those things. We say we want them, but then we don't go after them, or we go after them alone and we end up burnt out. Why can I say that? Because it absolutely happened to me, right? So a community holds you high. They will say, hey, listen, if this is the thing you said you want, they will help you go out and get that. And what do I mean by that? They're not like literally holding my hand or shoving me. No, they just, they remind me. They leave reminders, right? So they see the best for me and they push me to go out and go towards that. And the best part is if you get in the right community around the right people, those people actually end up becoming like family. I have a plethora of people who I've met, in the communities that I've been a part of, and literally whether I'm still in that community or not, they still are a part of my community, right? So I think that's important. And the other thing that community does is reciprocity. If you are a person who is just a consistent giver and all you do is give, 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 and you're not getting poured back into, that's because you're in the wrong community, right? A community, it should be reciprocity. We should be feeding one another. We should be loving on one another, helping each other along our journeys of healing and truth and all of those things. That's the beauty of community. When something happens, and literally the community that I am in, we saw for the loss of one of our members. Guess what we did as a community? Rallied around one another, allowed each other through one of our calls to actually talk about it. That's the beauty of community. Things that maybe you can't talk about with your family. Things you can't talk about your friends who've known you a long time because they think they know you. Because what happens if you're on the journey of personal development, it's like people say, oh, people don't change. Oh, they may not change, but they transform. I tell you that much. I can say that because I absolutely have transformed. And I know so many people that I've worked with who have transformed their core beliefs. You absolutely, and that's called change to me. Okay? And it's bigger than change because I don't go back to those beliefs. I don't go back to those limiting, lackful behaviors and beliefs. Okay. And that's the other thing about being around a community of like minded individuals who want to go higher, who want to achieve more, who want to be positive in the world that's so negative. I can tell you right now, as a African American single mom, my community rallying around me has been the best thing that has ever happened to me, because I'm telling you, in the world that tells you everything you should not be, in the world who wants to define how you look, what you say, what you should be like, getting in a community that just allows you to be yourself is beautiful. because it helps you when you're outside the community to not shrink back, to not play small, to not want to not want to be someone else, or play a different character just because of someone else that's in front of you, or because of social media or whatever telling you should conform to something. That's the power of community. It helps you become more in tune and in touch with who you are, and you can be that because we all have a natural way of being. And it's so beautiful when you can just be that. I am so myself, and it feels amazing. That's the power of community. And who's in the community, right? Let's talk about who should be. I have different communities. I have a community of therapists. I have a community of coaches. And when I talk about coaches, we all specialize in different things. So I have a financial coach. Financial literacy coach is more like it, right? I have a spiritual coach. So listen, this is the thing about community, right? Someone who not prays on you, but prays for you. That's so important. In a place where I had a tragedy happen to me last week. Literally somebody praying, Prey, on me. And it's so beautiful that I have a community of people that are praying for me, so much so that their prayers, I feel like, save me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so beautiful to have that. That's why it's important to have community. I had a place to come back and have discussions. I could listen, that very night, I'm like, listen, I called someone who I met through the community. We were on the phone till like 2 a.m. My community is dope. And then to have a place to come and talk, it wasn't judgment. It was like, hey, let's walk through this. What do you need? In the world that takes from you, I have a community that pours in and says, what do you need? Right? It's so important to have that. In the world, listen, I'm going to tell you, so if you want to know if community, and I'm sorry, if community is right for you, if you ever felt like you were alone, if you ever felt like you're the only one, if you ever felt like you just didn't fit in all the places and spaces that you were in, if you ever felt like you were not good enough, if you ever felt the weight of the world on your shoulders, if you are single, whether you're a single mom or not, because I was married once too. Listen, married and didn't know who I was and therefore divorced today. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So if you feel the stress of everything that's around you, if you feel the weight of the world financially and you don't know how to technically handle your finances, if spiritually you have church hurt, right? I promise you, get yourself into a community. And here's the thing about not all communities are not created equal. So here's where I'll tell you, because I know you're like, okay, you're telling me all the beautiful things about the communities and how do I get in one? Here's how you get into a community. There's two ways you can go about this, and I did both actually. So if you have a desired need to become something, like for me, I wanted to be in the speakers arena. I also wanted to be a coach. So I went and found the number one speaker in the world and joined his community, right? I went and found someone who actually teaches speakers how to speak, right, fluently, how to get the jobs and things of that nature, where you want to go out and teach and do workshops on vision and empowerment, which is all the things that I do. And if you're interested in having me come out, if you're interested in also having me be your coach, info at moesass.com, info@moesass.com, right? So I went and joined those communities. Now, within those communities, what did I find? Like-minded individuals who wanted to do the things that I wanted to do, understood the trajectory I was on, understood what it took. Because the thing is, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to have to burst this bubble that's going around social media where they're like, it's this thing that, you can just become an overnight success. Now, here's the thing. I believe that all things are possible with God. And I also believe that it takes a certain amount of diligence and work that you have to put in as an individual on your mind, on your heart, and your soul, because it's going to take every bit of you to get your business off the ground and to go in the place that you want it to go to be successful. I'm just going to tell you that right now. And it's not going to be overnight. Sorry to burst that bubble. Do I believe that money is energy? Yes, absolutely. But it takes work to be in that energy. It does. It takes you working on your personal development. It takes you working on your trauma. It takes you working on your healing. You want to be successful, you got to go work on you. And everybody be like, that's just bull. Well, ask people who took all the time to work on their business and didn't do any work on their mental health or their, ask them how happy they are. I'm just saying. There are multiple ways you can go get it. But for me, I wanted to go after it in the most healthiest way, which meant I need to work on my mindset, which meant I need to work on all my lack and limiting beliefs, which meant I had to leap. That means let go of my limiting beliefs, eradicate my fear, answer the call on my life, because God had been calling me so that now I can prosper in my purpose. Right? It took all of those things. But I could not do it alone. And I thought for many years, my strong women, we just have this label of what strength is. I know I'm labeled the strong woman, so strong, the one that people lean on. They know when stuff get thick, who to call? Me. Let me tell you something, strong women. We need a community. We need a community so that we can let our hair down and not feel that need to be strong all the time for everyone. And to put on that face when we're hurting. And to pretend that everything is okay when it's not. When you really work through your healing and you start to love yourself, you will understand you don't have to do that anymore. Listen, I literally put up a post last week. Hey, listen, I'm going through something. And I'm not going to do a self-love video today. Because that was not, and this was not an emotional thing. This was a trauma thing. And there's a difference because and why am I explaining that to you? Because there are sometimes we have to push past our emotions. Emotions are temporary, right? Oh, I don't feel like working out today. Well, if your body is not in pain, get up and go for a walk, okay? Right? Sometimes you have to push past the emotion. But when it's traumas and it's deep wounds that happen to you, that's not the time to push past. That's the time to lean in. And that's when you lean in on your community. That's when you pick up the phone like I did and call my therapist, who is absolutely dope. And have no shame in speaking that. I want to break the stigma of therapy with Black women. And here's the thing, Black people in general. I want to break the stigma. That's why I always speak about it. I think to be a successful leader, you need to have a therapist. You need to. Someone to go to and talk about the things that you can't necessarily talk to other people about. Or to help you reverse engineer and walk through that thing. Because sometimes your mind plays tricks on you. Okay? Real talk. Why does your mind, especially if you experienced trauma when you were younger and you were put in positions of guilt and always believe that you caused things or things were always your fault, I promise you, go through something, that stuff comes back up. That's why you have to have a community around you. Set up your community. My community of therapists, my community of coaches. Hey, listen, things ain't not going right. I need your help. I'm going to the next level. I'm trying to move from 6 to 7 figures. Okay, let's talk about it. That move is not that move. Maybe this is what I love about it. The move is simple, but it's not easy. There is a difference because it takes you understanding what you need to do to get to that level, and then also like tapping into the people who've been there, done that, wrote that book. The power of community. Who am I surrounded by in my community? People who have been there, done that, and written that book. So they can help me through this next phase, right? Each phase requires a different level of community and a different level of coaching, right? And so throughout all of that, to maintain the strength that people come and pull on, I put myself in the spaces of having those people, those beautiful spirits surrounding me, lifting me up, so that when something happens with me, it doesn't take me years to recover. Hear me. So that when something happens, because life is going to life, y'all. Life is going to happen. It's going to absolutely happen. Traumas are going to happen. You're going to lose people. You know, the one thing that's certain is death and taxes, okay? As crude as that sounds, it happens. So having community around you is so important. I love my family. Please don't get this twisted now. I have family too. Me and my sister, bomb tight. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling my parents too. But it's still different. It's very different. You know, they see me in one aspect, right? My community sees me in another. And it's important because they have prejudgments. They're your family. They're supposed to. Let them have it. Don't try to fight. This is the big, and I want to say, stop trying to fight your family to see you who as you are. Let them see you however they need to. That don't mean you have to engage with no mess, but let them, like, everybody wants to fight for their family. I'm not fighting for my mother and father to know Coach Mo. Like, no, I'm not. Right? They don't even need to see it. Truth be told, I need to see it. I need to believe it. I need to feel it. And then surround myself with people that help me in the days that I don't necessarily feel that. And some people may not agree. They're like, oh, your parents should. Oh, well, guess what? If you don't have it, what you gonna do? Like, for real, for real. It's not my job to force it. It's just my job to be it. Be who I say I am. Walk in the light that I say that I'm gonna walk in. And guess what? Slowly but surely, they'll either see it or they won't, but it doesn't matter. That's the biggest thing. People are trying to force people into something. Don't stop that. Just be who you're going to be. Show up. Biggest thing, though, don't talk about it. Be in action. That's the other thing I love about community. We're all in action. We're not all sitting around. I promise you, I had something that I started working on creatively in January, something that God had been telling me to do for years. I just haven't. And it was because of my community. I met a gentleman at a conference in Texas who have now Mr. Felix Henderson out of Mississippi has become a part of my community, whether he really knows it or not, right? But who, God sends downloads and he'll send me a message, do what you were supposed to be doing is literally what the message, right? But it was because I opened myself up to the community, right? I finally this weekend, because I was like determined. I talked to my community of people because we all hold each other accountable. These are my accountability partners too. I'm like, listen, I have to turn this stuff in by today. I've said it yesterday, and it's like I was like, listen, I have to admit to you guys, and this is the beautiful thing about it, right? I have to admit to you, like, I'm stuck. I'm bogged down. I'm feeling like it's not good. I'm going through all this range of stuff, everything, and admitting to them, like, yo, listen, I was supposed to be working on this for a minute, and I wasn't doing it, and because of me doing that, they opened up the floodgates and poured into me so much so that literally I met the deadline and got it done. That's the power of community. When you can't go anymore, because honestly, guys, I go so much. I am literally the Energizer Bunny of success. Like, I'm going to keep going and going and going and going until God puts me in the grave, because I am determined that the graveyard will not become richer because my gifts are in the ground with me. I'm determined to leave every single part of me here. I'm determined to leave my words here. I'm determined to leave, people better than what I found them by doing what I'm doing right now. There is no money behind this. This is just me pouring into people because I understand that it takes a community to get to wherever you're going. It takes a community sometimes to get out of that funk. It takes a community when your kids are not acting the way you want them to be acting. It takes a community when they're just cutting up. It takes a community when you don't have that family support. It takes a community when you have gone through a divorce. It takes a community when your marriage, is going through the peaks and valleys of what a marriage is going to go through. It takes a community when you're single in your 40s and you're trying to, work through all these people that you are meeting and they are so trauma filled and refusing to go to therapy. Please, my Black men and women, go to therapy. It will help you. Okay, I promise you that people show up with all their triggers in their trauma just spilling and spewing out everywhere. You understand what I'm saying? Go get healed. But it takes when you're surrounded by a community and you're dealing with all their life is throwing at you. You're dealing with all these things where people are still dying from COVID. You're dealing with now this new thing with monkeypox, child. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm vain, okay? I ain't got time for no pox, okay? I don't have time for it. I'm laughing, but I'm dead serious. But when you're a part of a community, it takes you out of the secular world that is just surrounding you with negativity, and it places you in a place of positivity and love. I am filled every single morning with my community. We talk every morning, 6 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 8 a.m. on Wednesdays. We actually have every other Saturday and Sunday mornings, right? I am filled. So I'm sorry, I meant to back up. So this all began with me telling you how to get in the community. I apologize. I got to get back. I digress. Okay. So yeah, whatever it is that you desire to do in your life, find the number one person who is doing it and join the community. Why you want to follow the best of the best. Period. In the story. Okay. Or number two, build your own. I did both. So I am actually a part of two communities right now that are just stretching me and growing me. And I also have my own community as well. And if you're interested in joining my community, you can go to www.moesass.com and join my mailing list, and I will get the information out to you because I just think it's super important to have community. Without community, I don't think I would still be standing. Without community, and what do I mean by I don't think I'll still be standing? Because because I want to be very clear, I don't believe that my life is mine to take. I believe that when it's my time, God will call me. But what I mean by still standing is my mental health. It takes so much mental toughness, mental strength real talk, to walk into who you truly are and to understand there's nothing wrong with you. It was not until I read, and I'll tell you this too, part of this growth was I read this book called Relentless by Tim Grover because I didn't understand my drive. Like people would be like, you're doing a lot. And I'm like, I am. I don't think I'm doing enough, right? And then people would tell you like, oh, it's because you don't think this of yourself or because you don't feel you're worthy. And it really wasn't that for me. It really wasn't, right? And I'm just like, whoa, and just thinking like, okay, I have to heal this thing, right? And literally was nothing for me to heal. I have drive. I am very, very driven. But I am driven behind a purpose that God put in. It's a battery that God put in my back. And it's fine. And I had to read that to understand, oh, there's people like me out there. Then guess what? I'm in a community that says, oh, there's people like that out there. Cool, we're good. Right? And what do I mean by that? They're not toxic because there's a difference. I have to say this because with all the new communities that's out there, with TikTok and all these people spewing, very hateful and negative things. I'm talking about things that are uplifting. I'm talking about things that are powerful. I'm talking about things that are positive. I'm talking about things that take you to your highest level of your highest self. Anything that's low level, low energy, negativity, that's not the community for me. Now, granted, it may be for somebody else. I'm just saying it's not for me. Anything that has me fighting against other women, anything that has me fighting against, my men, black men, anything that has me fighting against, the other generations. I'm not, yes, these kids coming up is a little entitled. I have five of them living. I get it, okay? I get it. But we shouldn't be fighting with one another. It's about uplifting one another. It's so many people in here telling, it's like, listen, I have gone through some serious traumatic things with men. I understand the type of man that's out there. I understand that man needs help. But that I'm not going to sit up here and dog them out and just teach women to hate men, and it's just so much of that out there. If you want to stay sane in a world that's insane, get yourself in a community, y'all. Get yourself in a community where you can breathe. Get yourself in a community that will surround you with love. Get yourself in a community that especially if you're a person that pours into people, that will pour into you. Community is so important. But I will say this also, get yourself into therapy and or with some sort of coach if you are the person, because we all have some negative traits about ourselves. I'm not going to say the word toxic, narcissistic. I'm so tired of people diagnosing people that don't have no type of degree. We all have traits. Okay, can we just stop that today? Everywhere we all have traits. Go work on your traits and stop diagnosing everybody else. Okay, that part. I was with somebody and everybody else had problems but him. Child, if you don't go and get you some help, okay? Everybody has something. Work on you. Get yourself in a positive community. And please don't walk into that community with your, if you are unhealed, because we had somebody like that too, coming to just all sorts of negativity and just bring the whole mood down. Please work on yourself. Please work on yourself. It's so important, y'all. Mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, nutritional health. Those are the pillars that we get to work in and work on. And when you have a power of community, it helps you get through all of that. And again, if you would like to reach out to me, info at moesass.com. That's info at mosass.com. If you want to email me, www.mosas.com. If you want to join my community, and all you have to do is go there and sign up for my email, or you can always message me on Instagram and or Facebook. Leave a comment on YouTube and I will always answer. I hope that if you don't join my community, that you become a part of a community so that you can better your best and take the leap that you need to become successful, however that looks like for you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Sunday.